My name is Claire. I was 19 when I first met her. It was my second semester at college, the time when everything still feels like it could change at any second. The world smelled like coffee, ink, and rain on stone steps. Her name was Dr. Morgan Hale, my literature professor. She was in her early 30s, the kind of woman who didn't need to raise her voice to command a room. Her tone was calm, even measured, but every word carried weight. When she spoke, the class went quiet in a way no one ever planned. It just happened. The first thing I noticed was her hands, delicate but assured, like she knew exactly what to do with them. The second was her eyes, a shade of gray that looked almost silver in the light. She asked us to write an essay about honesty, not the kind in textbooks, the kind that costs you something. When she read my paper a week later, she paused longer than usual at the end. "You write like you're trying not to say something," she said. I laughed nervously. "Maybe I am." Her smile was small, unreadable. "Then you're already ahead of most." After class, I stayed behind to ask about a reading list, though I didn't really need to. It was an excuse, a quiet one. She stood by the window, sunlight outlining her shoulders. Outside, the campus trees swayed lazily in the wind. "Do you like this course?" she asked. "I do," I said. "Mostly because of how you teach it." She looked at me, and for a moment the air changed, not tense but aware. Like both of us suddenly realized we were standing too close in an empty room. Then she nodded, returning to her usual calm. "Good. That means you're paying attention." I left the room with my heart beating too fast, trying to convince myself it was nothing. Admiration, curiosity, anything but what it felt like. Over the next few weeks, I found myself sitting closer to the front. I told myself it was to focus better, but the truth was simpler. I wanted to hear her voice without the echo of distance. Sometimes, when she spoke, she'd meet my eyes for a second longer than she needed to. And in those seconds, I forgot to take notes. I didn't understand it yet, that quiet gravity that pulled me toward her. But I knew one thing. She noticed me too. The semester moved faster than I wanted it to. Every lecture felt like a fragment of something unfinished, words that hung between us, questions I didn't dare ask. It was late one evening when it finally happened. Not a confession, but a moment that changed everything. I'd stayed behind after class again, pretending to need help with my final paper. Most of the campus was empty. Through the window, the sun was setting, spilling amber light across her desk. "Sit," she said, gesturing toward the chair across from her. "Let's look at your draft." Her tone was steady, but the quiet between us wasn't academic. The paper sat untouched for a while, her attention somewhere else. Finally, she said, "You write about courage as if you're trying to understand it, not claim it." I looked up. Maybe that's because I don't think I have it. She smiled faintly, folding her hands. "You do. It just doesn't always announce itself." The clock ticked softly behind us. I don't know how long we sat like that, not speaking, just sharing the same space, breathing the same rhythm. Then she said, almost to herself, "You remind me of what it felt like to believe that honesty could change things." "Doesn't it?" I asked. She looked at me, and for the first time, her usual calm cracked. Just a little. "It used to." Her gaze held mine longer than it should have. My pulse quickened, but it wasn't fear. It was something quieter, deeper, the recognition of someone who saw you, really saw you, and didn't turn away. I don't remember who moved first, only that when she reached for my paper, our fingers brushed, light but electric. The world seemed to pause there, in the space between a breath and a word. Then she pulled back, clearing her throat. "You should finish this draft," she said softly. You're closer to the truth than you think. I nodded, my throat tight. Thank you. For everything. When I left her office, the hallway lights were dim. I could still feel her presence, the scent of old books and rain that always lingered around her. Weeks later, after finals, I found a note tucked inside my graded essay. Honesty does change things, when you're brave enough to live it. No signature, but I didn't need one. Sometimes love doesn't arrive as a declaration. Sometimes it's a lesson, one you keep learning long after the semester ends.